Pony really messed everything up at Consensus.
What? I messed stuff up. Why is this my... Do you know how difficult it is to manage the audio for 4 fussy...
Remember when I said we should plan better? Because we're going to broadcast and record?
Do you remember when we had to pay $2,500 for internet?
Yeah, but that's... You're just getting away from the point here. The point is that you killed the audio.
It's my fault, guys.
Well, you spent like an hour doing it and you still screwed up, so...
Dear people of Earth, I apologize.
This close to being kicked off the show. This close.
We had such a great show, too.
It was a lot of fun.
Now only like 50 people saw it.
That's okay. That's okay. You had to be part of the club.
Yep.
Was it like 100 people? I don't know.
Yeah, it was like 100 people.
1,000 people? I think it was 1,000.
No, bro, that's Consensus 2019.
Magical Crypto Conference 2019.
Yeah.
MCC.
In the house.
So for MCC, if you want to come, you have to be able to sing the song, right? Or intro song. If you can sing it, we'll let you in.
Well, no, we can do some sort of discount. Or if you don't know the song, it's like 10% extra or something like that.
Nice. We need to think about who's going to be the MC of MCC.
The MCCMC.
The MCCMC is a tough decision that we need to come to.
How's MCC related to the BCC? Isn't it the Bitcoin Core Coin?
No, that's BTCC.
Oh, BTCC. Oh, I forgot.
Which is also a company.
Oh, of course.
Which company is it?
I don't know.
Never heard of it.
Wow, these people are not making good decisions.
But there's already physical Bitcoins for BTCC, so works out well.
Yeah, but the mint is closed, so... But you can buy poker chips.
Is it?
So, welcome to the show.
Magical crypto. The best thing to do is simply to hodl. What's a young pony to do in a sea of shady ICOs? A lion's courage can light up even the darkest of shadows. Unlike the corporate suits, the whale panda is wise. A chicken dreams about the moon while soaring in the skies. As Bitcoin sees new all-time highs. Crypto. All around me I see big blockheads. Magical crypto. The best thing to do is simply to hodl. We'll always buy the dip, and we'll always be the best of the rest.
So, welcome to our 8th episode. I'm still Whale Panda. We still have like the guy who messed up all the audio last episode, Riccardo.
What's up?
Samson, who is trying to arrange everything for our Magical Crypto Conference. And Charlie, who if he didn't sell his LTC stash, it would now be higher. The market cap of Litecoin would now be higher than Bcash.
Maybe.
Well done, Johnny.
Horrible.
Good job.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, first of all, we already talked about what Consensus was like at Consensus, but no one heard about it. I think that the overall sentiment was that it was fun to meet everyone, but the conference itself sucked because it was all scammers and all ICO pitches.
Yeah.
And that's why we just came out of nowhere with the Magical Crypto Conference, which is supposed to be a more technical conference, more Bitcoin focused, maybe with a bit of Monero, Litecoin, scams like that, like more like good scams rather than bad scams.
The problem with Consensus is just the ticket price was so high that it kind of just prevented like real Bitcoiners from joining. So
Because real Bitcoiners hodl and don't want to spend their Bitcoin on ticket?
Exactly.
I don't think it's that it prevented them. It's just that people don't want to pay that much to go and listen to people sell ICOs.
Yeah, maybe it's mostly like a lot of like business people, right? A lot more business people than the actual mix of Bitcoiners. So
I agree with that. I think the problem is you've got a lot of people who now work for themselves in the Bitcoin space, and for them to justify that ticket price is very different from a company just writing like a check for 50 tickets for 50 employees to go.
Well, also you have to think about, was it really that much to see or to like experience as a Bitcoiner? I don't think so. I mean, the Blockstream room was great. I think I saw 2 talks. Yours, Riccardo, where you were on. It was in privacy, I believe, which was also great. But that was also because it was like people who know what they're talking about. And other than that, I didn't really see anything. I saw part of like Jack's talk with Elizabeth Stark, but I left early there, and that's basically it.
Well, the Jimmy Song talk was good, the panel.
Yeah. Then I was stuck in the Blockstream room. I missed that. I saw it afterwards.
Oh, the podcat is back.
The podcat doesn't want to move. So another topic that actually came up at the conference, and it was like a big. Just as a note, this is going to be a Bash Riccardo episode. It's not going to be a Bash Charlie episode. Woo-hoo! So the first topic that came up was Riccardo's watches. So
watches or watch?
Watch, but he has many of them. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
He's always trying to show off with them and trying to be like very posh.
That's why I walk around with like, bling on my wrist. And I talk about them all the time.
Uh-huh. And the funny thing was, no one even saw the ones you're wearing around your ankles.
I know. And under my jacket, if I just like held up the right hand side of my jacket, I had a whole bunch of like iced-out Rolexes.
Yep.
No one even asked.
No, but obviously they got blown way out of proportion. And I know Riccardo a bit, and he's not like that trying to show off. He just enjoys timepieces, as he likes to call them. And actually, this is actually a funny thing, but it's true. Like when you go on Instagram, when a lot of guys that have Instagram, they use it to like check out bikini models or other type of models or whatever. If you check out Riccardo's Instagram feed, it's all watches and cars.
That makes me sound like a bad rapper. I don't know.
Well, Fluffy Pony does sound like a rapper name, a little bit.
Yeah, MCFP.
So what do you think of all this, let's call it that you got for it?
I don't know. There were a couple of interesting things that came up as a result of that discussion. A lot of people said things like, I would never spend that much money on a watch, or I would rather spend that money on a house and whatever. So lots of assumptions made about where I spend my money. No one bothered to ask, like, little things like, I don't know, is this a sound investment? I mean, there were some people who asked that. And I'm not certainly not saying that people should go out and buy watches, but high-end timepieces absolutely can be a sound investment. If you know what you're doing and you also have good relationships in the industry, so you can sell it if you need to. But I mean, beyond that, like, there were a lot of people that moaned about, why am I spending my money on that when I should be spending my money feeding starving children in Africa?
Exactly. And you're in Africa. What's your excuse?
Given the benevolence we've seen in the community with like the Pineapple Fund, Hack for Hunger, Sean's Outpost, and a lot of things like that over the years, I think that it's kind of silly to assume that I'm doing a disproportionate amount of good. I don't think that anyone that does good should walk around bragging about it. And so it becomes like, well, what do people notice?
Someone should tell the Bcash guys that.
Oh, yeah. And at the end of the day, like, I prefer spending my money on that than on ridiculous boat parties. Maybe that's just me. I'm just afraid of losing my private keys on a boat again.
Riccardo, are you behind the Pineapple Fund? Is that what you're insinuating?
No. It's not what I'm please, that nobody take this video and assume that I'm insinuating that. And then, we have Pineapple Gate.
Those awesome guys at Pineapple Fund get no credit for the amazing work that they're doing.
No, but I mean, you get what I'm saying, right? That like, there's a lot of good stuff that happens, and I think that it gets sort of swept under the radar because everyone wants to focus on like what people are spending their money on. When I think, as a lot of people rightfully pointed out, it's nobody's business.
Yeah, indeed, it's nobody's business, and everyone should or can do what they want to do. And also, yeah, like you mentioned, if you if you do good, you shouldn't go around bragging about it. I mean, then you're not doing it for like the advantage of the children or whatever, but then you're doing it like to make a statement about yourself. That's more like virtue signaling.
Yeah.
But sadly, most people do that, right? All they care about is letting other people know that they're doing good.
Yeah, sadly. Without virtue signaling, charities would not function.
That's true.
The only point that I made to people about that is, like, I live in Africa and I see cruelty and suffering on a daily basis. And you can't, I don't think it's possible to live here and not be moved to at least want to help people. Whether that translates into action is another story. But I mean, it's a lot of people live in their ivory towers and don't see cruelty and suffering except maybe on the news, if they even watch the news anymore.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Riccardo spending so much money. It's his money. The only problem I have is that he wore it on the wrong wrist.
Charlie, there are no rules. You make your own rules.
Of course, there are rules.
When you're wearing an $800,000 watch, there are no rules.
It's designed to be worn on your right arm when you're cycling. Was I cycling at Consensus? Did anyone see me cycling?
You could be.
Oh, that was why there was a unicycle there. Okay, that would make sense.
When I wasn't on the unicycle.
Cool watch, but wrong wrist.
I promise, if you guys ever catch me cycling, I will totally be wearing the watch on the right wrist.
We won't catch you cycling.
I think it was a distraction. He went in and he thought, oh, if I wear this watch, people are going to see it. So he put it on the other hand.
No, wait, no one will see it.
Riccardo, let me ask you, how many people do you think actually wears that watch cycling? No, I'm serious. Like, do you think anyone actually bought that watch for cycling?
No, I think that...
Like, not at all.
I think that there's only one person that wears that watch for cycling, and that is the designer.
Yeah, and recently they released a polo watch for playing polo that's worth like $1 million. I'm just thinking, like, how many people actually play polo with that watch?
How many actually play polo?
Period.
Poloniex? It's a trader's watch. It's if you've made bank or Poloniex, then you can wear that watch.
So let's move on before we're stuck the entire episode talking about watches. Actually, one of the remarks that we got is that the first few episodes we did a lot of more informative talks about technical issues, and we stopped doing that. We stopped more like joking around. Apparently, I don't know where they got it from. So let's go back to like one of the more technical issues at hand: quantum resistance. So IBM said that in like 5 years, there will be like quantum computers and a lot of cryptography algorithms will be broken. Other experts say that it's about 20 years out. So should we be worried about it? Should Bitcoin be worried about it? Should Monero, Litecoin be worried about it? What are your thoughts on that?
I think Riccardo's Googling it right now. Give him a second.
We're trying not to be funny, so cut it out.
Right.
So I've had the privilege of speaking to experts in post-quantum cryptography at the University of Eindhoven, which is a very famous university for cryptographers because that's where Tanya Lange and Daniel J. Bernstein are. Now, one of the things that the guy said, or a couple of things that came up in that discussion with this post-quantum cryptographer and others is that we don't actually know how quantum computers are going to affect cryptography. We have some educated guesses. We have some things that we can assert that are probably correct, but we don't actually know. So a lot of post-quantum cryptography design is based on a set of assumptions that may be incorrect. And that's obviously quite dangerous because you can put your hopes in like this amazing lattice, yada yada, super silly ISO whatever, poly whatever, and then next minute that thing just breaks down. That's the first thing, is like we don't know until we know, and by then obviously it's going to have like a bit of a chilling effect on certain types of cryptography, and certain things will have to move quickly to upgrade. The second thing is it's going to affect a lot more than like Bitcoin and Monero. That's going to affect TLS. It's going to affect all sorts of things. And all data is, we often view like TLS streams as transient, but they're not. when you visit a website and the website uses HTTPS, your connection is end-to-end secure. But that doesn't prevent somebody, an attacker, an ISP, the NSA, whoever, from taking that entire data stream and storing it somewhere for later decryption. So that encryption, and the same goes for Tor, the same goes for ITP, the same goes for anything. All of these encrypted protocols are most likely being snorted and snarfed and stored somewhere for later decryption by post-quantum computers, or quantum computers rather. And this is something that isn't really avoidable except like not to use the internet at all. The fact that we're storing data on a blockchain is, well, I mean, sure, it makes things easier for an attacker because they don't have to go and like passively grab the data. But at the end of the day, they have the data anyway. So anything you do using a blockchain, if your concern is that somebody might be able to figure it out later, well, again, stop using the internet, because like that's just one of those things that's going to happen.
Quantum computing, I think like we'll have time to switch our algorithms around to be quantum safe when the time comes.
Yep.
And if quantum compute, I mean, there's a small chance that quantum computing will like destroy cryptography totally, like nothing can be encrypted, then this is going to destroy like pretty much the whole financial system, right? Everything relies on some sort of cryptography to keep things safe. So that would be Bitcoin will be the last of our worries if that happens.
We'll all be living off the land and learning to plow.
Yeah. So, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll have time to kind of adjust and adopt quantum safe computing. Or cryptography, I mean.
Well, I think there's different layers in being quantum safe or quantum resistant. So ECDSA can be attacked, right, by quantum computing, but I think SHA-256 can't be, just because of energy required to brute force it. But things like ECDSA, that can be replaced and swapped out. So different parts of, let's say, Bitcoin can be switched out. We can switch out ECDSA for something else. We could probably switch out SHA-256 as well if we needed to. But I think by that time we'll probably have some other hashing functions and algorithms that would be resistant.
One thing I was going to point out as well is, I don't know if you know what Google have been doing for post-quantum cryptography experiments. But they've been encrypting a small percentage of connections that Chrome makes to Google's domains using normal TLS encryption, but also a post-quantum encryption scheme inside of that. And their thinking is, if ordinary computers end up being able to break the post-quantum scheme, at least you have normal, ordinary encryption. And if in the future there are quantum computers that can break the ordinary scheme, at least you have the post-quantum scheme. So I don't know, maybe over time as we start to sort of, as this landscape starts to play out, maybe what we'll end up doing is upgrading like Bitcoin and Monero and Litecoin and whatever with protocols that are like that, where we're like, yeah, we're doing SHA-2, but we're also doing this post-quantum hashing function. Yeah, we're doing ECDSA, but we're also doing this, And maybe that's the sort of way that we end up moving, just to make sure that we're, as a network and an economic system, we're ready for that.
So when Vitalik comes to us and asks for money for his quantum mining scam, should we invest in it or not?
All in.
Actually, this is funny enough. A lot of people don't know this. Like they've not been around that much. But before Vitalik started with Ethereum, he did like a presentation and asked for funding for quantum computer mining or something like that.
And he would have done an ICO if Ethereum was around back then.
He would have done an ICO.
It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he created Ethereum.
That's his next step.
He needed a platform for ICOing his virtual quantum mining computer thing.
You got it.
Interesting.
And then he can try to attack other chains with it. And talking about attacking other chains, see what I did there? So there was this new website which calculates like how much it costs to attack 51% attack a blockchain like on hourly basis or something like that. The website is crypto51.app. And there's some interesting stuff there. So because recently we see now Bitcoin got 51% attacked. Verge had issues, although that was not really related to that directly. There was another one I think you mentioned, Charlie. What was it?
Zencash just got attacked today. Or allegedly, I haven't confirmed it.
It's apparently very cheap to attack some of the bigger chains.
And also, lastly, the sun is attacking Riccardo's face.
So, what are your thoughts on that? Because it's surprisingly cheap, and I think it shocked a lot of people that because I have it on here right now, like Bitcoin, which is $1 billion market cap, you can attack it for 1 hour for $533.
Yeah, it's actually funny that a month before this happened, I gave a presentation in Korea talking about how some of these weaker minority chains can be attacked. And then, a month later, someone made the website, and then we see it happening. But I think if you didn't know that this was possible and things are nice hashable, then you probably should not be buying and investing in these cryptocurrencies.
I think most people were aware of it, but not about like how cheap it actually was.
I like that the site also shows you like the percentage of the hash rate that's available for rent on NiceHash.
Yeah.
You can see the feasibility of an attack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's like over 1,000%, it's very, very easy, likely, I would say.
Actually, Bitcoin private, it's 1,200% now. And it's a 420 million market cap at the moment.
Yeah, you can't fake security, yo.
And it looks like Riccardo defended the 51% sun attack. So, good job.
I win.
Actually, another interesting thing that came up was that
It shows how strong Monero is.
no, actually, it's more expensive to attack Dogecoin than to attack Monero.
That's not true, because Dogecoin is merge mined.
I know,
You
but
can't
it's still
do
funny.
it one-to-one.
It's still funny.
It's so funny. I'm laughing inside right now.
Well, I mean, some other people pointed out, like, because Dogecoin is merge mined, it becomes easier if pools wanted to attack Dogecoin because it costs them nothing. They're already merge mining it. So that's a threat when you're being merge mined.
Yeah, that's true. I think pools would need to have a pretty strong incentive to want to sort of bite off the free lunch that they're getting with that.
Sure.
So yeah, there's that balance of like, hey, the incentive is you get free money, and the other incentive is to attack it for X. So I mean, look, that balance of incentives is always messy, because I think that it's hard to think adversarially and it's hard to understand the disincentives that often exist. But I think with merge mining, it seems to have lasted a fairly long time. Things like Namecoin have been merge mined for ages, and they're still around.
And well, for the newer viewers that are not that familiar with it, can you quickly explain why someone with 51% attack a chain? What are the benefits for the attacker, and what are the drawdowns for the other people?
At $5 an hour, you might want to attack it just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people may want to attack it just for fun, right? Mm-hmm. It's just see if they could. If it's cheap, then it would, might be worth it just for fun.
Yeah.
But there's also, if you really don't like that coin for some reason, you might want to attack it. Or if you can actually, if you do 51% attack, you can double spend, right? You can release your longer change, which has a double spent version of the transaction that you want to undo. So you send money to an exchange anonymously or using some of the exchanges that don't really know who you are. Mm-hmm. You sell for Bitcoin, you cash out, and then after you cash out, you were separately attacking it. You launch a longer change, which has a different transaction, which undoes the transaction that you send the coin to the exchange. So now you keep the coins and you have Bitcoin that the exchange gave you. So the exchange loses out on the money. And you can also short the coin if there are places to short it. So you can attack, and then if the coin value drops, you make money. But surprisingly, some of these coins actually got pumped after they got attacked. So you just never know.
But I mean, you might also be a competing coin, and you just want to get rid of your competitor. So you just continuously attack it.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, there's like a point where there's like easy money on the table to do your own coin, do your fork coin, or to do a token sale, and then when that dries up, then attacking and stealing from exchanges and shorting is probably going to be easier. So I think we're reaching that point now where it's not as easy to get the quick money, and people will start attacking to make money fast.
Yeah, and I mean, like, let's be honest, exchanges do not have a high tolerance threshold for coins that are continuously attacked. They'll just delist them. They don't care.
You think? Makes sense.
Well, I'm thinking that's dangerous. Okay, we have Ethereum, which is like 58 billion market cap, but all those tokens on Ethereum, if Ethereum gets 51% attacked, they can also like mess with those tokens, no? And then the total market cap is suddenly a lot bigger than like it's Ethereum plus all the market cap of all the tokens. So would you be able to retrieve to undo all those transactions?
You mean could you double spend a token like an ERC20?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? So say it's the same thing.
Then, because now it's, for example, $450,000 to attack Ethereum for an hour. Okay. Well, I have Ethereum. I have all those ERC20 tokens. Why not?
So you're saying short all the tokens and then attack the chain?
No, sell it and short it, and yeah.
Well, it's quite hard to attack like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero. Some of the larger coins that have like that's dominating their like respective mining algorithm. It's hard to attack those because not like the Crypto 51 site. It shows you like how much it costs to rent the hash rate, right? But you just can't rent enough because people are honestly mining that coin, so they're not renting out their hash rate. You just can't rent enough to attack these larger coins.
Plus, if someone did attack Ethereum successfully, they just roll it back, right? So what's the point?
That's true.
Well, I mean, you've got they've got that right hand column. It shows you the nice hash percentage, and I mean, you take like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got 1% available on nice hash. I mean, that's not enough to pull off an attack. Ethereum's got 2%. So yeah, I mean, I think that unless the percentage hash rate available on nice hash is like 40%, you're really going to struggle to pull off any feasible attack. And why bother? Go for the low hanging fruit first.
Yeah, the problem is that the incentive is also skewed a bit too, because market cap is a bad indicator, right? There's no market depth. So even if you tried to steal coins, you're going to tank the price as you're selling, right? So it doesn't really matter. But
that's the shorting trick, right? Then, I mean, you short the currency and then you just continuously attack it. So even though the price is dumping, you've shorted it, so you made money.
Well, you can also have it and then sell it. But then if market depth is not there, then you're going to tank the market when you're selling it.
I was going to say, we're making assumptions about liquidity as well. And maybe sort of like a weighted market cap or coin market cap weighted by liquidity would give an attacker better metrics for, which coin to start with.
Yeah, that's why these coins that are more well-known are getting attacked as opposed to these like no-name coins, right? Coins that actually have liquidity where an attacker can actually pull some value out of it when they do attack the coin successfully.
Yeah, that's why I call security by people not giving a shit about your coin.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a good thing. It's kind of like survival of the fittest. It's also like we'll see like which coins are actually can survive these attacks, right? What's actually like people have been too complacent, like just releasing coins. All these coins are worth like hundreds of millions of dollars in market cap, right? When they really shouldn't be.
Yeah, well, the thing is they're not, and the attackers know they're not stupid.
Yeah,
unless it's the attackers that ask for 1 million in Ripple.
How much security a coin has is basically relative to how much they're paying miners, right? So Bitcoin has really high security because every block pays a lot of money to miners, and there's 6 blocks an hour, right? You can calculate that how much Bitcoin is paying miners, and in order to attack the coin, you either have to mine yourself, or you have to bribe these miners to lend the hash rate to you to attack, right? So you have to pay them more than they would earn from them just mining themselves, and that just increases the cost of the attack. So Bitcoin is paying out the most to miners, and you quickly do the calculation to see like some coins are paying like $1,000 an hour to miners. So if you just bribe enough miners, pay them $2,000, you can attack it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the next topic, which is also about Riccardo this time. So I heard that you abandoned Monero and are now launching a new ICO scam called Tari. Can you elaborate on that?
So clever, Whale Panda. We're also oversubscribed for like $300 billion, and it'll be the largest pre-sale ever.
So will it be similar to EOS?
It'll be better than EOS. It's like EOS 2.0. Also, we're going live in like 2 months because that's how quickly it takes to build a protocol.
Okay. So you're obviously not really leaving Monero, but you're giving like away your responsibilities in the community.
I've been doing that for like 2 years. So you know how Charlie sold his Litecoin at all-time high? So I've been giving away my Monero duties at all-time high. So it's kind of the same.
Kind of the same.
Kind of the same.
Kind of same. He's giving his duties to me.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm the new Monero head.
So Charlie's the new CEO of Monero Incorporated.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm shutting down Monero now.
And you're putting confidential transactions into Litecoin, right?
Yep.
So in seriousness, we're building a decentralized assets protocol on top of Monero. So it's kind of like counterparty for Monero. We're doing things a little bit differently, but so we're doing it as a merge mine sidechain instead of counterparty's embedded consensus model. But there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of the spirit of counterparty and what counterparty was trying to achieve that we're going to do in Tari.
And what's the advantage of it being on Monero? Does it have any advantages of the privacy protocol and stuff like that, or?
So there's a similar privacy focus, but obviously with decentralized, with natively digital assets, privacy is often less of a concern than it would be with like sound money, and so the main focus is scalability. So whilst we have a strong privacy focus, we're not as maniacally focused on privacy as Monero is, and instead we're trying to build something that is that has stronger scalability claims and weaker privacy claims than Monero. I think we can do so and still achieve a reasonable level of fungibility for fungible tokens. But we'll see. I mean, it's like we're legitimately 2 years out from this thing launching, because building a protocol is hard, and there are no shortcuts.
So isn't Tari selling movie tickets? Why do you need private movie tickets?
No, Tari is not selling movie tickets. So there's been a lot of talk about ticketing, and obviously, like one of my co-founders, Dan Tari, is the co-founder of Ticketfly, and he sold Ticketfly to Pandora many moons ago. And because of his experience in the ticketing industry, a lot of people have made the leap to, Tari is for tickets, but it's not. Tickets are a type of native digital asset, but that's just one type of native digital asset. I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of other things, right? Like ERC20 tokens that could be done on Tari, like loyalty points and like in-game assets, in-game tokens. So there's lots of stuff that we want Tari to be good for, besides the obvious use case like tickets.
And CryptoKitties.
I think CryptoKitties on Tari would probably be crypto ponies, but I don't see why not.
Okay, that's enough shilling of your ICO.
I have 3 words for you. Take my money. Where can I invest?
You can't. You'll have to buy it from miners, like the rest of the poor people that had to buy Bitcoin and Monero at the beginning, and Litecoin.
Can't you sell him your pre-mine?
So there's no pre-mine and there's no ICO.
Not even for magical crypto friends? Private fund?
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
There's no deal flow in the Magical Crypto Friends HQ.
Why do we even keep you on the show?
I know.
For you keep me on the show so I can mess up the sound and give us something to talk about.
You're also funny from time to time, so that comes in handy. Yeah, quite controversial with your watches and stuff like that. So it's always fun.
I'm not wearing a watch on my right hand because I'm not cycling.
Show us your left hand.
Just a buckle. There's no watch.
It's like a Lambo on your wrist.
Okay, on to the fan questions. We had some fun ones this week. So, first question: what about the magic between Jihan and Zooko looking into each other's eyes and making promises? Proof of eyes? ? So, to give it a bit of background, Zooko posted last week that he had a video chat with Jihan. They talked about all kinds of stuff, including Monero mining, and Jihan said, "We did not secretly mine Monero. We have 200 people working for us, so if we would do it secretively, it would come out eventually. We've never mined anything in secret."
That's why people have received dusty miners with like broken fans.
And Zooko said, I looked at him and I believe that he was telling the truth.
No. His feelings told him that Jihan is telling the truth.
It's because he looked into Jihan's eyes for 5 minutes in Argentina, guys. Get it right. That's all you need.
So what are your thoughts on that, Riccardo? You tweeted about it also.
I mean, like even if this wasn't like Bitcoin and decentralized applications, even if this was just like traditional, like capitalist companies competing with each other, to go like, I trust someone because I looked at them in the eyes is such a naive, grossly naive statement. I don't even know, like, oh man, I don't even know where to begin about how like crazy that is.
Don't verify. Trust your feelings.
But I mean, like over and above that, someone pointed out that that culturally, there's a whole sort of cultural thing because there's almost like an expectation of lies and whatever when you're playing at that level in China. I don't know how true that is. I'm not Chinese. I don't live in China. I don't do business with people that run large ASIC manufacturing companies in China, but I definitely can attest to there being cultural differences between the way we do business in the West and the way business is done in the East, and having dealt with a lot of suppliers there. And I think like you can't just go like, well, in the United States we do business with a handshake and a smile, and that's the way it works all around the world.
With that accent?
Nobody does that in the US.
Because my word is solid gold. Bitcoin, solid gold.
That's actually interesting that you pointed out, because I had a conversation with someone who actually lives in China, and he basically said the same thing. So that in China, when you do business, they lie to you, but because they also expect you to lie to them. So it's all fair game, because they lie to you, you lie to them, and that's all part of the business. I don't know if Samsung can give some input in that.
Samsung's Canadian, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he does a lot of business
man.
there too.
I don't think people lie to you. I think maybe it's just more guarded. Like, I don't think people go into a business discussion and say, I'm going to lie to you because you're going to lie to me. It's just more guarded. People are less direct. It's more beating around the bush and going a roundabout way to reach a point. But Charlie has a good grasp on it too. What do you think, Charlie?
I'm American.
It's not get very racial suddenly.
I know. All of a sudden, I started realizing we have 2 Asians and 2 white people. I never even thought about that before.
This show got darkly racist very quickly.
Oops. Anyways, I don't know. I don't think any of that matters. It's just ridiculous that we're dealing with the cryptocurrency and trustlessness and everything, and he's just I trust my feelings, and a lot of this stuff is easily verifiable too. I mean, they're shipping dusty miners that have been used to mine ahead of time. We know that they're mining Monero way before they released their Monero ASICs too. And then you don't even want to get into the whole ASIC boost stuff, but I mean, they said we mined on testnet with ASIC boost, but they manufactured their boards for ASIC boost. You don't do that unless you're going to use it. It's like making a phone with a camera and saying, yeah, that's just there for fun. You're not supposed to use that camera.
What's disturbing to me is just the fact that I guess Jihan and Zooko just talked about some stuff, right? And then they're creating ASICs for Zcash, and Zcash has considered changing their mining algorithm to combat ASICs. And now they've chatted. So what did they chat about, right? What could they have possibly chatted about? Did money change hands? Is there a deal that's being struck? It's all seems potentially some conflict of interest going on.
Well, all you know for sure is that Zcash is probably not going to change their algorithm for proof of work.
Definitely not after Zooko looked into Jian's eyes.
It would be such betrayal of those eyes if he were to change the proof of work algorithm.
Jian will phone him up and be like, Zooko, I trusted you.
Jihan probably paid Zooko in Monero, in XMR.
Because Zcash transactions are not shielded.
No,
that's right.
Jian also said that one of the main issues is that there is a big communication gap between the West and the East. And that's one of the reasons. And they stopped communicating that well because of that communication gap or something like that. It didn't make any sense.
You remember that conference where someone called Bcash? Jian was not. There was no gap there. He shut it out. It's Bitcoin Cash, not Bcash.
It was the Ethereum Classic Summit. I was there. I was in the room. I told the guy
that
to do it.
That was the one. Was there a gap? I don't think so. It was pretty good communication.
Well, Panda has been stirring the pot for years.
Okay, next topic. So, at Consensus, we talked about Verge being added to Pornhub and stuff like that, and we're talking about porn. Now something interesting came up. Litecoin is accepted by VR porn. So, Charlie, what did you have to do to get that done?
No money changed hands, first of all.
You just looked at them in the eyes and convinced them.
Yep. I trusted him. He trusted me.
You had to agree to star in a few films.
What happened was actually VR porn contacted me after, when Pornhub launched with Verge, I made a public tweet saying that, hey, they should accept the real deal, like Bitcoin and Litecoin. And then Pornhub replied with a snarky comment that kind of just blew me away. So VR porn wrote me and said, hey, they didn't like the fact how Pornhub treated responded to me, and they're big fans of Litecoin and they wanted to support Litecoin. And I'm like, sure, yeah, that's cool. Go ahead. And then they implemented it and launched it. I think it's cool. I don't.
So you got a free lifetime subscription.
I was just gonna say that.
I had to pay for mine.
Okay.
The future of VR, right? Future of cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So it's actually blockchain plus VR plus porn.
Yeah, it's Trinity.
Solid.
Okay. One question for Samson. When will your loyal fans be able to purchase shirts? When is the web shop ready?
2 weeks.
Okay.
I still have to get the Blockstream store back in operations. we're only selling stickers right now, but we're like this close to reopening t-shirts and hoodie sales. Once that's done, I can get the magical crypto store up.
What are we gonna sell there? Do you have any hints?
T-shirts?
Anything else? Plushies?
How about plushies? I'm working on that.
Stickers?
I've got the lion. Look, check it out.
And this is a pony.
Wow, that's a beautiful pony.
Thank you.
Yeah, we could do stickers too. I think people liked our little animal head stickers.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised by how popular those stickers were. I don't remember how many you got me, Samson, but like I gave away almost all of them. Everyone wanted them. Even people who weren't there kept asking me on Twitter and Telegram to send me some stickers. And I said, I'm not gonna send stickers to you. I'm lazy. Come get them.
The best part is when people approach me in consensus and they didn't want a picture. They didn't want to talk to me about their ICO. They just wanted a sticker. I'm like, yes. Sticker and the handshake.
Actually, talking about that, it was. I went downstairs to the room with all the booths with Charlie, and it's really incredible. I mean, I thought Riccardo was popular, but when you walk around with Charlie, literally every 2 steps you get pulled over and someone wants to take a picture or wants to pitch an ICO. It took us like 1.5 hours to just walk the entire between the booths. It was really not that much fun, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense either. Charlie has no coins anymore.
Charlie, you should have arranged to have like your PA there. Your assistant. Which is, I thought that's what we did. And then Samson was just really bad at like arranging interviews.
Yeah. Well, Whale Panda was my assistant. I told him that, like, if this guy got, like, if people spent too much time talking to me, just say, like, hey, Charlie, we need to go. And it was very useful. And I was like, I have to go.
You realize that people are going to watch it and said, like, oh, fuck, they pulled it off too. They pulled it off. Yeah, okay. It's very nice. Now I'm guilty also.
Well. It's not going to work next year.
No, actually, the fun part about the stickers was that Max Kaiser was also running around with them and doing his interviews with all those 4 stickers on his shirt. So that's fun. Next question. This is not really crypto related, but what do you think about Microsoft buying GitHub? There's a lot of discussions about that now.
I don't think it's inherently gonna mean that everything collapses and changes overnight. At the same time, I know that the Monero development group is thinking carefully about our next move. We have had a self-hosted GitLab instance as a backup for, like 2 years. And we did that precisely for this reason, that if something happened with GitHub, that we had a fallback. And we've got like a sync service that pulls in all the data from GitHub. And what we're thinking now is it might be worthwhile doing like a full migration into that GitLab, that self-hosted GitLab instance, and then making GitHub the mirror and making that GitLab instance the master.
Dogecoin co-founder Jackson Palmer made a tweet about this, which like made a lot of sense. Like Git is decentralized, GitHub is not. So it's as if like Microsoft bought Coinbase, right? That's nothing to do with Bitcoin. Like Coinbase uses Bitcoin, and if you didn't want to use Coinbase, you would use someone else. So you can host your own using GitLab, or you can. A lot of people trust GitHub, just like a lot of people trust Coinbase.
Yeah, I think the problem is that Git. You're right. Git is decentralized, but there's other features that GitHub has, like projects, wikis, the code review, pull request comments, pull requests themselves. All of these things.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you take the Git repo itself, it's got the Git history, and branches and so on, but it doesn't have all of this metadata. So the and that metadata is kind of useful, for like why were certain decisions made. So I think like that's really the only thing that maybe needs to be taken into consideration is, do you trust GitHub with hosting that data? Do you want to give additional metrics to Microsoft? If you don't, then pull your data off and use GitLab, Bitbucket, well, self-hosted GitLab, Gitea. There are a bunch of alternatives.
Yeah, it's actually not a big deal. I think a lot of people probably use their own self-hosted GitLabs too. It's just probably more of the open source projects that don't, right? Because it's more work to do that. But a lot of companies probably aren't using GitHub just for that reason. They want that privacy.
Yeah, like at Globee, we use GitLab internally, self-hosted.
Yeah.
And have for like since the beginning, and it's really powerful. I mean, it's got all the features that GitHub has and more. So I see very little reason not to do it. And you're right that like smaller open source projects will maybe struggle with infrastructure, but then you have other options. You have Bitbucket and you have GitLab, as I understand it, have their own hosted environment as well.
Yeah, and if you're complaining about functionality, go and code it up. All right? Just do it yourself.
Totally. So a lot of the import stuff in GitLab, when we started using it, didn't exist. You could import like pull requests and issues, and now it's like pretty much anything. The whole code review status, wikis, everything can be pulled. The whole project system can be pulled in. So they've gone like, we need this functionality, and they've written it up over the past few years.
Okay, one last question to end the episode. What do you think about McAfee running for president in 2020 in US?
Didn't he fail last time?
Yeah, he tweeted about yesterday or like 2 weeks ago or last month.
Samson, did you say didn't he fail last time?
He ran. He did something last election.
He ran last time also.
Yeah, and he didn't get anywhere.
Well, obviously.
Third time's a charm.
But now he has all his crypto friends, magical crypto friends. So
no, he doesn't.
He's not running with the Libertarian Party anymore, right?
Well, he said he would, unless he said he would if they wanted him, and otherwise he would create his own party, which will be a fun party, I guess, if it's McAfee. Very strange one.
I don't know. If Donald Trump can be president, maybe anyone can.
Yeah.
Well, also there's only one of us living in US, so it's really not our problem. It's only Charlie's.
It's not a problem.
He's leaving. He's moving to Canada.
If McAfee becomes president, I wonder if they'll do like the national currency will just change every other week.
Currency of the week. Yeah, it could work.
Why do you have a panda holding a gun?
It's a Banksy. You know Banksy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Banksy?
Yeah.
That's an official Banksy thing?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it.
He painted this itself on the t-shirt.
On your t-shirt? Wow.
Whale Panda was like, hey, can you give me an autograph? And that's what happened.
It's worth more than Riccardo's watch.
Totally.
And Banksy obviously is Satoshi Nakamoto.
Obviously. Oh, I'd like to point something out. Like, with the sound that was messed up at Consensus and the sound that was messed up when we were at the Satoshi Roundtable, I can actually blame Samson.
What? How can you blame me?
Of course you can, because it was Samsung gear.
No, it was Samson equipment.
It was.
Oh.
It was actually it's your name. It's not Samsung, the Korean company. It's actually SAMSO.
Yeah.
It's true. I'll share some blame. When we finish recording this show, we're going to find out Riccardo forgot to hit record on his audio.
No, I didn't. Don't worry. But yeah, for the next live broadcast, we're switching from Samson to Shure. Sorry, Samson, you're leaving the show and being replaced by some guy called Shure.
It's okay.
You mean share?
Sure.
As long as it works.
And on that bombshell,
Wah, wah.
goodbye.
Bye.
Magical crypto. Magical crypto. Magical crypto will always be the best of the best.
I'm just thinking we should actually do a post-credit scenes like the Marvel movies. So you make people watch through the credits.
We do that before the intro.
Oh, that's true. I don't watch their shows, so I don't know.
Who cares about watching our shows? I mean, that's just crazy talk.
Watching yourself is it's wrong.
It's strange. I have to agree. It's a bit odd.
I don't like watching myself.